Hello, champions. Coach Tina here, and it is the beginning of the month of October. I am so excited to be coming to you this Monday to bring our Monday morning motivation. I am going to make sure that we are live in the Facebook group for everyone that's watching to get the best notification. So give me just a second as we get started. And as you come in, make sure you put live or replay so that I know you're watching. And if you are not registered in StreamYard, which is the platform I'm using, please put your name in the comments so that I can see and communicate with you. It makes it a little awkward when you're making comments and I don't know who you are. I have never figured out how to make Facebook where I can see the comments as they're coming up, which I know sounds really crazy because other people do it. And I'm a pretty smart gal, but what I have discovered is that I'm not going to let technology get me down. So I continue to push myself and to do the lives, even if I can't fully communicate with you guys just yet. But I have trust in my heart that at some point I am going to be able to fully see your comments. So as I mentioned, if you are coming in live or watching the replay, please go ahead and let us know you're here. I'm Coach Tina, if you don't know me, and I am the founder of the Empowering Champions community. I am also a certified ULA life coach, and I'm a gal just like you who is working towards her goals, reaching the level that I feel is where I need to be. So my highest potential, I'm always pushing, I'm always trying to get to the other summit, the mountain moments, as some of you have heard me talk about. It's not in a crazy, gotta overcome everything way, but in a way that is sustainable and works for me. And I'm trying to help other people to also have that in their life. So I'm going to be talking today about a fun topic, but before I do, I wanted to mention that at the end of this video, I will for sure be telling you about an Empowering Champions community benefit that is offered for free each month, 8 times a year. So it's not exactly each month, but with holidays and the summer, I wanted to be clear about that, but I'll be telling you about that at the end of this. And I do have a comment. Wonderful. I'm so glad you made it. And as I was mentioning, don't forget to say who you are so that I can welcome you properly. So happy to have you. Today the topic is going to be how to have a regret-free 2023. What in the world do I mean by this, right? Like, what are you regretting? Well, sometimes we don't see what we don't see, or we don't know what we don't know, right? Well, one of the things I know from being a woman at this age in this life is sometimes we have great intentions, but we don't always follow through. It even hurts to say it, right? But how many of you have gone into life and had a moment where you meant to do something and you didn't, and you have carried that regret with you for a while? And I see it's Margaret that's on. I'm sorry, Maria, you're also on. Wonderful, wonderful. So happy to have you guys. And let's see what I was talking about with the regret-free. And I'm going to access my notes on this because I feel this topic is really super important. And I don't want to miss all the things that I was thinking about as we go into this topic. In fact, I have a question for you, and that is there something on your list right now that you know that if you don't do it, and you can insert whatever it is that has been on your shoulders, weighing you down, you know you want to get to it, but everything else becomes a priority. It's the phone rings and you have to schedule in the only time block you have where you push that thing that's important to you off to the side, or there's an emergency, or it takes some money, and right before you go to pay for it, something happens in your budget and you have to allocate those funds instead to this thing that isn't the thing that you want. So what is it that you will regret not doing? And let's timeline it before the end of this year. Like, what is it that's so important to you that maybe in January of last year you set this goal and now you're not so sure? In fact, you don't even really remember what, like me asking you this, you're like, oh yeah, there was that thing. Okay. So I'm getting schedule a week for myself. No one else but me. Wow. How magical would that be, right? That time to sit and think with yourself, plan out. Like, the funniest thing, I have the best brain time when I am on an airplane, because I can't do anything else, right? And so I will pull out a notebook and just the entire flight, I'm not very social on the flights, and I will just write out all the things. And it's wonderful to do like on the way to a trip because it's kind of like a brain dump, but I can get an entire plan put in place and on paper, and it's so freeing. So I totally get what if I had a week to do that, right? Wow. I hope that is something that you do get to enjoy in your life. And all of you that have other things, these are important things. The things that are coming up for you, you have got to apply yourself to it, or else you will have a life of regrets, not just a year, but it will stack and stack and stack. And what happens is you get to a certain point where you're like, ugh, I'm never going to be able to do all that stuff. So I'll just give up. And that, of course, creates something that is what I call like a negative energy. It is a drain, and it is not what you are looking for. So my first tip for having a regret-free 2023 is, drumroll please, be on fire for what is possible. Okay, this is really about state. State is like a mindset, but in a really positive way, because what you want to do is get fired up. You want to increase your energy level, and you're the ruler of your life. You get to put into your life what you want to put into it. And why not live a life where you are jazzed, where you are excited about life? Whatever it takes to get you at a higher energy level, that's what you need to do first. You need to be excited about life. And a lot of that comes from when we dream about what's possible. And just having that moment with yourself where you are like, yeah, this is how I want to live my life. This is the prize at the end. This is the destination I want to go to. When you get excited about it, it makes it more real. Now, it's not done yet. There has to be some pieces that come in between there. But when you can visualize it, you can make it happen. You can create it. So why not harness that energy and really ride it to where you want to go, versus when you get discouraged and distracted and give up on yourself. And just saying it, right? You hear the tonality in my voice change because it's depleting. It takes away the energy. And so when we look at our to-do list and we're not energized, of course, we're not going to feel like doing it. We're going to feel like there's a better thing to do, or we're going to take the first opportunity to do something else that presents itself. Like, how many of you have needed to work on a big project and all of a sudden you get really excited about cleaning and you want to clean off your desk or you want to do something? And how many of you have noticed that is a huge distractor, and you're creating it because you get a little bump for cleaning, but it's not as scary as putting yourself into doing the thing that you know you need to do. And so that's an example of how things pop up that seem to be more important, but that in the scheme of things, they're just keeping you busy. That's the squirrel wheel. Okay. Hamster wheel, I guess they call it, but it can kind of be a squirrel wheel. Squirrel wheel. Kathy's checking in too. Wonderful, wonderful. And Maria is saying she has her best ideas in the shower. That is awesome. Yes. All right. So we're going to keep going here. And talk about the second tip for having a regret-free 2023. And I don't know about you guys, but I learned things from my kids a lot. And this one was a lesson from my son when he was like 15 or 16. My son was a soccer, like he poured himself into soccer. He loved everything about that game. And so from the time he was 7 till the time he graduated from high school, and now even now he still loves his soccer. He was on teams and was getting coached and just loved it. He never did the football route. In fact, he thought his friends were like, "What's wrong with you? Why would you give up soccer?" Right? He was that dedicated. And so he was telling me that there are times on the soccer field when things will get really chaotic, really frantic, really fast moving. And if you've ever watched a soccer game or any sport game, actually, you will notice this energy starts to happen. Now, it's funny that I say to get fired up for what's possible. That's a higher energy. This is you're harnessing or containing that energy. This is not like slow things down to stop. This is a recognition that you have control over some stuff. And so what would happen in my son's soccer games is as this game speeded up, like maybe they were playing a really strong team and that game could take the ball and they could whip it around and they could, dodge around everybody and they would go down and immediately score. Well, they had a fast pace going and their coach would say, when things are going too fast, when it's too chaotic, they're more likely to be able to get the ball from you and score. So what we have to do is we have to slow the game down. And that's when he would say, take the ball and kick it behind you. Take the ball and play with it with your foot. Get to that place where you are the one in control and not letting the game and the somebody else's agenda, somebody else's way of doing things, make it control you. Okay. So what I notice in the game of life, especially as we go into this next season. So today marks, I think tomorrow is the actual 90-day mark till the end of the year. But what is happening is everything accelerates in this last quarter. This is the best quarter. This is the quarter most people are trying so hard to get everything set up to finish and complete their year strong. But it's also the time of year with the most distractions. So many things go on. I don't know about you, but we've got multiple birthdays. We have anniversaries, things going on that you're trying to, fit in the mix before the end of the year. And then, of course, as a life coach, a lot of my conferences and things happen at the end of the year. And my own offerings happen throughout this time period. So, and then we layer the holidays on top of that. So if you honor the Christmas holidays, if you do Thanksgiving or Boxing Day, or Halloween has become big around the world as well, you have these things. And while they're not like Halloween, it's not that important, but it is a time marker. And as we go towards those time markers, it speeds up, right? So what we want to do is be intentional about slowing things down. Now, this can even be in your daily life. Like if you are feeling frenetic, if there is something going on that is just, you can't catch your breath, pause, stop, take a deep breath. Allow yourself to get into a heart posture. Because a lot of times when we're in that time lock, we are in our head, we are fretting, we are trying to be logical about everything, and life does not move forward in that manner. You got to take it into your heart, and you got to really play the game by looking out and being purposeful in your actions. Sure, there's a lot of stuff to do, but is everything the same level of importance for you? Will it matter as much if you do the A thing versus if you do B or C, right? Tony Robbins likes to say that instead of having this huge dump of a to-do list, he wants you to draw a circle on a page and put the desired outcome, the thing that you want the most, and then draw from this circle all the things that you could do to create that outcome. And when you look at all the things you could do, he says, use the Pareto rule, which is the 80-20 rule, which is 20% of the things that you could do to have that desired outcome are actually going to have more impact than all the others. So let's pick the most important things that will drive you to that outcome. If you had 10 things on your list, it would be just 2 things, not 10. And so when you look at life that way, when you pick the most important things that will get you the furthest, you are going to have a better result in the end. The outcome that you desire is going to come forward. But it's only going to come forward if you are in control, if you are seeking those moments, if you are looking for, what is it that I'm trying to get out of here? And so one of the other techniques, and I'm Tonied up this week because we're in the middle of life mastery, but one of the techniques that we use is asking better questions. So another way you can slow things down is to ask a question that has you prioritize better. Like, what is the most important thing that I could be working on today? Now, that's even a weak question, because if you can tie it to your outcome, my big moniker is to joyfully celebrate growth. So how can I celebrate more in this moment? Will spur me to think about what's next. How can I turn this into a rewarding situation? And just by having that moment, it's kind of like the 5-second rule we talked about last week. It's a pattern shift in your mind. By asking a new question, a better question, you can then respond to that question versus the pressure that's on you to do all of the things. So I really appreciate all of your comments. Maria is saying that what I just said about time markers is so true. And yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know why it accelerates so much, especially as the years go by. And I don't know if it's just the advent of technology, but what I really think is it's something that we're creating in our own midst. We are speeding things up. And it's funny, even as I say this, another Tonyism is where focus goes, energy flows. And so maybe it's about the focus on the future date. Like that's what brings the holidays so quickly. We want it to happen, but we forget to stay in the here and now as well. And as a result, it pushes us faster. And so if we take that time, and this is the point that I'm really trying to make about slow down, is when you get up in the morning, give yourself two minutes at the least, but 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes of really deep centered breathing. This is a great time that you can pray. This is a great time to connect to your creator, to the things that are important to you. Just kind of run through. I had great teaching early on in my life that said, don't make a to-do list. Sit with God in the morning and write out what he gives you to do. Take all the other things that you think are important off of that list and just go with what comes to mind, because that's the stuff that you are meant to do. And when you live your life from that position, you don't feel like you didn't get things done. You recognize that you did the important things, the things that matter in the end. All right. And the third thing that we were talking about, the things, slowing things down. The third thing is to implement a system that holds you accountable. Even the most disciplined person we're operating from some sort of a system. We cannot operate in a vacuum, right? You have to have something that is working for you that you are putting forward. And so some of us, that's a journal and a planner, and that works great. That is not me. I love my planner. I love my systems, but I have to have people in the mix that I can call out to, that will hold me up to my standard, right? And so you want to have a system that is really working for you. And I don't know, go ahead and tell me what systems are working for you, what holds you accountable. Very nice, very nice. Kathy is saying that that you need to enjoy the journey to your goal. It's definitely true. That's love that. And then on the system that holds you accountable. Of course, in my world, I'm always thinking about how can I help more people. So very curious to know which tip you will use to make 2023 regret-free. Or if you have a tip of your own, we can insert that into the comments as well, because it's important that you declare how you're going to achieve what you're going to achieve. That's part of the magic that happens when you are intentional with the entire process. You don't just let things happen to you. You say, you know what? I am going to go forward and conquer my life in the way that it needs to be. I am going to shape it up. You know, it's like you have a lump of clay in front of you. And if you've ever worked with pottery, you have to mold it in your hands. You've got to manipulate it, massage it, and get it into a place where it's palatable, where you're able to, pliable, I think is the word I'm looking for there, where you're able to actually then shape it into the creation that you want. Life is very much like that. And a lot of us look at that lump of clay and it seems hard because we haven't manipulated it enough yet. But the more we do it, the softer that clay gets and the easier it is to shape it into the form that we're looking for. So I'm excited to see what your tips are. And Maria says, sometimes we need an accountability partner. So very true. And Kathy says she has Tony friends who hold her accountable to her intentions and goals. I love that. I love that. And I do as well. Kathy and I both participate in the Tony Robbins community, and we know the benefit of hanging out with people who are like-minded, like-hearted, that are wanting to live life the same way that you are. They may not want the same goals, but they want the same satisfaction, fulfillment from achieving the things that are on our heart. And so one of the things I wanted to point out early on, I mentioned that there is a free benefit in the community, and that is each month I do the From Procrastination to Desired Destination Masterclass. It is a 3-day class, and this week's class, the first week of October, is the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th. So that is Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It happens at 7:30 in the morning, my time, which is Central, and you'll have to do all the time adjustments. I actually have a new, it's coachtina.live/time. And if you go to that URL, there is, I can't figure out how to make the little widget any bigger. So the little tiny print in the middle, it says check your time, and you can take wherever you are and apply it to the times of my events, and you can easily see what your time zone is. And that has been something that has been on my mind for a while because we have such a global community. I can't even begin to go through all the different time zones that we hit. But if you'll use that tool and you can see what time 7:30 a.m. Central is, then you will be available for the live for our masterclass. And if you, for whatever reason, like maybe it's the middle of the night or that's when you go to work or whatever, and you need to catch the replays, they will be in the Empowering Champions community. But if you can make it live, would love, love, love to have you be a part of that. I do have a, I didn't put the URL in here, but it is coachtina.live/masterclass. Will get you to where you can register. And for those of you that are registered before, your information should load in when you get there. It should know you basically. And all you have to do is press, yes, I want to go. And then you'll start getting the emails, the information. If you decide to go VIP, you'll get the workbook links and access to the live Q&As in the evenings, as well as the hot seat opportunities on the weekend. It won't be this weekend because of the Columbus holiday, but it will be the following weekend, the 14th. So would love to have you guys be in that process. If that's not something that, if it's something that you want to explore further and you can't make the URL work or whatever, just putting no regrets in here, I'll send you the link and you'll be able to access everything that you need. just want to say before I go that the cycle that I'm working on now, the reason why we're having the masterclass is to set us into this monthly cycle of goal setting and being able to accomplish things. And I don't know if you guys noticed, we had some success already from the people that joined from last month's masterclass. I posted a goal post on get it on Friday, and everybody was allowed, and that's anybody in the community. Even if you are not in the program, we are going to celebrate your goals. But I asked everybody if they had reached their September goals and to post their successes in there. And we had such good responses. I was super psyched. And basically the process that everybody is embarking on is we're going to share our goals at the beginning of the month, what it is we're working on. We're going to take those actions that only you can take, right? But you're going to do it with support. And then the third week of the month, you check in, you just say, hey, how is it going? Or if you're in the program, you have office hours with me where you also can check in and just throughout the week be saying, here's what's working or not working for me. How can we tweak? How can we talk it out? Sometimes just talking will get you to recognize what you need to do next. And then the fourth thing is we celebrate that success. We have our mountain moments, our victorious, yes, we are doing it. And that momentum towards making progress will help you to catch all the things that you are wanting to do, especially in 2023. So for the people who responded to that post, we are doing a drawing for a session with me where we will do one of the Tony techniques for lasting change in your life. And we had some great responses. So I'm gonna pick the first one. This will be the winner, but I'm going to talk about everybody. And the winner is none other than Margaret Finneran. She has been amazing this month. She is posting like crazy, putting out great information into the community for everybody. And congratulations, Margaret. We get to work together more. I know that's going to be fantastic for you. She made a goal for herself that she didn't know that she would be able to complete, which you got to love it when you give yourself enough of a challenge that it should make you a little bit like, oh, can I do this? Because we like to be challenged. So Margaret wanted to make her, she's making jewelry and she's trying to turn it into a business, and she wants to start this season making items to sell. And so she bought her racks to put her jewelry on, and her goal was to fill the rack with jewelry before the end of the month. And she completed that goal. In fact, one of her bigger goals was to actually make a sale. And this month, she made 3 sales without even trying. She was super excited, and she was worried about now she had no space and like her rack wasn't completed, but she even was able to fill it back up. So she was super excited about what she was able to do. Laura was able to work on, she's got this new software system that builds patterns and can make cloth, and you can take that pattern and do all sorts of things with it. So she is learning that new software, that program. And so she worked on some patterns and moved herself forward. And then we have Vanessa, who was also in the pile. I don't know if you guys can see that, but Vanessa has started working at a new job, and she's feeling appreciated and enjoying things. And I know that's a good shift for you, Vanessa. I'm super excited for you. And then lastly, but not least, we have Jennifer. And Jen was telling us that she moved forward several leaps on getting into some holiday markets for her glass etching that she does. And speaking of holiday markets and businesses in general, one of the things that we are going to do, and again, I don't have a banner for this, so those were our end of month champions, and we're just going to go with that. But we have a holiday market that we are going to be putting on also on the 14th. So we're going to have our weekend workshop followed by the market. And anybody that has a craft business or that is selling products, I will be showcasing you in a Zoom, and people can go around and learn about your product. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to try something new. I'm going to set up Zoom rooms where when people come into the fair, they can go into the Zoom room that they're interested in. And so they can go from market to market basically and visit everybody. So we're going to have a good time with this. We're going to try technology at its best. And we're just going to see, maybe we can help each other out by purchasing some items from each other for the holiday season, because it's here, you guys. This is the beginning of the last quarter of the year, and we want to come on strong and not let those holidays take us down, right? We want to have a regret-free 2023. I want to hear from you how this session has gone for you. Put some love in the comments, and let's get together soon. Let's meet at that masterclass, and let's see what kind of goals we can put together for you for this month. Have a blessed day, you guys.